Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the High Functioning Dimwits. We recently went through a name change, so now we're back up on across all social media. Is that correct? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, right, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm here with Kevin, and we are going to do something different this podcast. We're gonna center it around staying woke. Kevin.
Huh?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how woke are you?
Bruh, I sleep all the time. What do you mean?
I don't know.
I'm like, I want to
I
say...
get what you mean.
I want to say I'm like woke, but like realistically, I know there are people that are more woke. I don't know.
Oh, of course. There's always other people that are more
but there are some people that are so woke that it's just like, can you shut up, please? Because what you're saying doesn't make sense, you know?
I once had a coworker who was like that, man. Every time I would talk to him, he'd be like, "Hey, man, did you hear what happened?"
It's like, what do you
and I'm
mean?
like, well, no, what happened? And then he would go on about a news story like, that's not really what happened, man. I'm telling you, it's these back-end companies that be having to deal with the government. I'm like, okay, bro, I get you. I get you.
Aight, boss.
All right, but yeah, so this episode we're doing a little bit something different. We went on Ask Reddit, and we came across a thread that was basically by user Kekmistry. I believe that's how you pronounce that. What do you think, Kevin? Is that how you pronounce it? Kekmistry? Am I saying that wrong?
Honestly, I really don't know. Like, I just like, it's Kekmistry, so Kekmistry.
Kekmistry. But we'll link it down in the description if you want to check it out. But he asked a question in Ask Reddit. What is the wisest saying you've ever heard? So I wanted to answer the question before we went into it. I don't know about the wisest saying, but it's pretty much the wisest advice I've ever heard, and it was from my dad. He basically led me on to believe that it's, you know how somebody comes up to you and is like, don't let them live in your head rent free.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he was trying to say, and I love that saying because basically it's like it puts your mind right, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you're going through an issue with whoever the case may be, or even if it's not somebody, it's something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it live in your head rent free. Hey,
that's real. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's real.
Yeah. And then I also like something that's a little more blunt. Basically, I try to tell myself all the time, like, they're not worth whatever the problem is not worth the breath that you're using to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
I don't know. I would like to stick by that because it just keeps my mind right. You know, it snaps me out of whatever mood I'm in. I'm like, man, you know what? What the hell's the point? You know, of letting it go on in my head.
Yeah, man. I wish somebody would have told me stuff like that when I was younger, or I feel like they did, and I just didn't listen. I had like anger problems growing up, so you know.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I had like really bad anger problems, like especially like elementary through middle school. Like it was awful. They were still there in like high school, but I've obviously listening to me now and hanging out with me now, you would have never known I had anger problems.
I would have never guessed that, bro. Yeah. To be honest with you,
a lot of people don't.
I guess as a kid, I didn't have anger problems, but I was very anxious as a kid.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess like the wisest thing. So, I don't remember a lot of things. My memory sucks, like straight up. I don't really remember a lot of things that have been told to me, period. And it's not that people probably haven't tried to get through to me on certain things and everything like that. I always thought I was smarter than a lot of people, or that I was more knowledgeable, and that I already knew everything. I didn't need to be told anything. I'm learning from that. I'm actually starting to soak up information and stuff like that. I know that I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Also, people put me on that pedestal in school, which sucks. Don't stop telling kids they're like the smartest person you've ever met. That shit is not good.
Oh, dude, we should get into that because I heard something about that recently, but I can relate. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So like, I guess the only thing that really resonates with me right now, I heard it from my mentor, where I go to school at. She tells me all the time, because like my schedule is busy. Like I'm always doing something. So she just, take a deep breath, take everything one day at a time,
Yeah, like living, like just one thing at a time. Yeah, like don't take on more than you can chew. Basically,
exactly. Like, that's it. But I don't really listen. Like I still do a lot, but I like I think about it on a regular basis, and I'm trying to learn to do just stay the course, be consistent with things, and also at the same time just take everything day by day. You don't have to be worrying or stressing over things that don't need to be worried or stressed about.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on that, what you said earlier, where you said, well, it kind of has more to deal with parents telling their kids that, they're maybe basically that they're special.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of tough to hear, but in reality, like realistically speaking, you're not that special, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You can be your own person. You can, do whatever you want to do, and hopefully, not run into any trouble or whatnot. But a lot of people just end up feeling let down.
Yeah.
They end up feeling let down when they finally get an actual taste of what the real world is like and what competition is and real world problems. It kind of like snaps you back into existence.
Yeah, and you want to know the funniest thing about everything that you just said?
What?
That's what I'm dealing with right now.
I'm saying, bro, like I'm telling you.
And I'm not. I know for a fact I'm not the smartest person in the world. I know I'm like smart enough to get things done. I have book smarts, street smarts, but like I'm pretty smart when it comes to like school stuff, and it's always been that way. When I was in school, elementary, I was always ahead of the class with grades and things of that nature, and it carried over into middle school, high school. But I stopped trying. I was just because of the fact I'm like, oh, I'm this smart, this intelligent. What do I need to do all this for? I'm just gonna be smart and intelligent no matter what. So when I came to college, that's when I was humbled really hard.
Same, bro. Same.
Yeah,
same.
It really put me in my place, and now I struggle with the fact that since everything doesn't come easily to me, is it really worth doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was just that your expectations were set too high, bro.
Oh, probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
Because that's what happened. That's what happened to me a little bit, but it was more so not in what I was doing day to day, but in like yourself as a person.
Yeah.
Like you're not that like. There's not a lot of ways to say it, but it's just like you're not that different from everyone else. It's just how you carry on with yourself, and that's what I try to focus on. I can't be worried about anybody else. Can't be worried about this and that, and now I have a lot more time to myself. It's a lot easier to try to stick with that,
Yeah.
Just, if you're in an airplane and there's turbulence, you gotta put your mask on before your kid's mask on,
True. Yeah, that's like very good point actually.
Which is a great segue into this thread. The wisest sayings you've ever heard. I just want to point out that the airplane one wasn't mine. I don't know where I got it from. Probably from a movie, but let's move on.
Hey.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and sound off on the first one by username Gawkism. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Okay, it says, "It is easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled."
Fact.
That's that's on some deep shit. Okay, so it is easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled. I think that means you can't tell anybody they're wrong, bro. Yeah. Well, a lot of people are really hard to tell them to try to prove them wrong or for them to even admit that they're wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
So
I have a lot of family like that. But yeah.
Exactly, and so literally what it's saying is like, just to give you an example, and the reason why I know that this is true, like I was immediately like, yeah, fact, that's true. So I could tell someone right now that I have so and so amount of money in my bank account, and then pull up like a fake picture or something like that,
and they'll believe it.
Oof. They'll believe it. But
see, that's why we gotta stay woke, Kevin.
Exactly. No, so woke. Then you could tell somebody that this girl isn't really into them. Okay. But they've, in their head, they've taken all these signs and everything that they're into them, you know? That this is the girl, she likes me and everything like that. And then when you tell them, hey, don't do that, they're not really into you. They're just being nice and friendly. And then they go and talk to those girls, and those girls turn them down. You feel me? Because that's happened way more often than not.
Right.
Since I've come to college. Not to me, just to other people. Definitely not me. I'm way too cool for that.
Right. No, I get it. You know, we can't all handle the same things. But I think everybody's got a different mindset, though, man.
Yeah.
It's so, like, okay, say like me and you, we kind of, some people just get it, you know? Like, some people have the common sense to just get it. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Some people get it, and some people don't get it.
Fact.
You know? And the people who don't get it, I think we're kind of raised under, like, a rock, bro, if I'm being honest with you. Either that, or I don't know if it has to do with just who they are as a person, or, you know, how they came up. But I've come into a lot of people that are like that in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm going to come across a lot more in the
definitely.
future.
Without a doubt.
Right. And I guess the people who get it are the people you try at least to surround yourself with. Unless they're like family, you know, or, you know, because you can't choose your family.
Oh, you definitely can't. Like, I'm not going to say I've given up on some of my family. I'm going to say that I've given up on trying to change their ideals.
Right.
Because
that's a tough one, too.
It's impossible, dude. It's impossible.
Yeah. No, I get you. It's kind of hard to, man. Yeah. It's kind of hard to, especially nowadays.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I think eventually it'll get easier too. Because I think in the last 2 decades, it's gotten easier too. Just because a lot of things have come more to light. There's a lot more opinions running across, you know, people's minds. More access to info, more access to different situations that might humble you or at least enlighten you into someone else's situation.
Yeah, but at the same... Okay, so here's the thing. This is actually really important because of the fact that what you just said. So we live in an age of information.
Correct.
It's all out there. But there are people out here who are woke. And they make these stupid posts on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and people just eat it up. They're just like, yeah, that's right, and da-da-da. And you're like, no, that is not right. You need to stop and do your research and actually listen to what you're saying or listen to what's being said. It's foolishness, you know?
See, at that point, it's just fake news.
Well, exactly. And fake news is out there a lot, especially on social media, man.
I mean, the misinformation or the spread of misinformation is just as tragic as other things online. Like, it's one of the things that kind of grinds my gears, bro. But it's kind of like trying to get somebody to click on the article without just reading the headline.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do that. A lot of people just like their stuff, you know, up in front center, you know. They don't want to... All they look for is credible source, headline.
Yeah.
And then you can't change their minds. But it's the people who are more open-minded and, I guess, open to change on who you want sitting in, like, senator seats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like in the future it'll be a little more easy. I honestly do feel that way. I feel like times are changing. Especially when you consider that just half a century ago, you know, things were really different. If you know what I'm saying.
So different
for people of color, for people of different what do you call it, sexual orientation. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like times are changing. But you know, it's whatever.
Hey, you really out here being articulate today, man. Look at you.
Look, bro. Ooh. I'm just woke like that.
Yeah, I see.
Gotta stay woke, bro.
So before we move on to the next thing, I just want to say, like, I definitely when I gave my example, I kind of zoned out and went into talking from like personal experiences and everything without actually realizing what the quote was saying about convincing someone they've been fooled. Realistically,
yeah.
I said that wrong, and that's okay, you know.
That's fine. I mean, it's still on topic.
Yeah, it was still on topic, but it wasn't the right example. But I'm gonna let y'all fill in the blank on that example because I don't feel like going into it. I just want to go ahead and go into the comment that was right under that comment. There's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." You know. I think like that right there. Like, I know it's not entire. Like, this was a joke, realistically, because I can't remember what president it was. I believe it was Bush. I want to say it was Bush.
George W. Bush.
Okay, it was Bush. Yeah, and he said this, and I'm like, bro, how do you mess that up? How do you mess that up? So I think that's fantastic. But we'll go ahead and talk about something else right after this break. All right, so what was your next topic?
All right, next, moving on. Next quote. And I do say quotes because it is in quotes. By user, oh man, I'm not even going to try that. What is that? Lenny Vinyl?
Lenny Vinyl?
Hopefully the I's are the same pronunciation. Lenny Vinyl says, "Don't do heroin. You'd love it." Ain't that the truth, bro? Never done heroin, won't ever do heroin.
Fact.
Because you probably would love it. Okay, real question here.
Okay.
Somebody with a mental capacity or like with a common sense, as say you and me, do you think if you tried heroin, you'd be hooked on it?
Okay. So here's the thing. When it comes to me, I am very particular about the things that I do. So, like, I'm not admitting that I ate a pot brownie, but I can tell you I did not eat a pot brownie after not eating a pot brownie, you know? And it's because, like, it's just not for me. But I can say as a person that sometimes I do have a problem with, like, things that I want. Oh God, I don't like the way that sounds. I'm gonna redo that one. Just gonna rewind
things
back.
That I want.
I have a problem with, like, things that I eat a lot of the times, like cravings and whatnot.
Right.
So I live, and it's a huge problem because I live right by a dollar store. Like, I can walk to it. Okay. So,
okay.
Yeah, so impulse. There we go. Impulse with my impulses.
Impulse control.
Yeah. So I love hot fries. I know you remember the fact that I love hot fries. That is one of my favorite snacks.
I know you do.
So if I feel like I want hot fries, I will walk and go get some hot fries.
Hey, dude, at least you're walking there.
You're right, but I mean, it's a huge problem because it's like I have the ability to just tell myself no. I do.
Right.
But there are a lot of, like, legitimately, there are multiple times in a week I will go and get hot fries. Multiple times a week.
You know what? You know what's crazy, man?
What's that?
I don't eat a lot of junk food.
That's good. Keep it that way.
But I'm not okay. I'll eat out. You know, I'll eat out most of the time. I'm not even gonna lie. If I'm going to lunch or something, but I'm talking about, like, snack wise, like fries, like hot fries or chips or even candy. I don't I don't do it. And it's not. I don't even do it on purpose. It's just that I don't get those cravings. I think most of my cravings are come from specific places. Like I die for a Chipotle bowl right now. Right now, dude. Like right now. I'm probably gonna go get one after this. Today's my day off, bro, and then I have to go trick or treating because it is the 31st. But we are releasing this on November 1st. So.
Hey, bro, don't give out our secrets, man. What you doing?
Oh, big freaking secret that is.
No.
But let me. I wanted to touch on it. So I think, in my case, if I tried it and I loved it, like I would have the common sense and I guess just common sense to not, keep going. But I also have the common sense to not do it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that I'll ever try heroin. I understand like the consequences and the things that come with it, and it's just not something I want to get into. But that decision right there is so much harder for other people in different circumstances. I gotta say,
you're right.
You gotta admit that there are different circumstances. We don't get to judge anybody because of what, you know what I'm saying. But that's just what I think. What I think about that. But
no, go ahead and say it. I know you wanted to say it, but what do I know?
I didn't want to say it. We're high functioning dimwits now, Kevin.
I know.
Name change, and we're sticking to it.
I mean, we can still say, but what do I know? It's a saying.
We can still say it, of course we can still say it. But high functioning dimwits on iTunes, please go give us a 5-star review. Anyways, moving on. Do you want to do the next one?
Yes, actually. This one, like, oh. So,
dude, okay, go ahead.
This one is by username Understeps. That's the easiest name so far out of all of them.
Great username.
Yeah. So we judge ourselves by our intentions, but we judge others by their behavior.
That's a little bit of some self realization right there going on.
Yeah,
right there,
man. Because like legitimately, I know for a fact I do this.
Right. Say it one more time for the people in the back.
I do this.
I meant the quote, Kevin.
Oh,
I meant the quote.
Okay. No. Do you really want me to say it again, or?
Yeah. Well, it's because I want you to say it, and I want to really listen to it this time.
I get it. You want me to put more emphasis on it,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I got you. We judge ourselves by our intentions, but we judge others by their behavior.
Facts.
Oh
dude,
my god, man.
Dude, I just thought of something kind of stupid. If when I told you to reread it, if you would have started off by not the quote, if you would have started off with like, "I have a dream," I would have lost my shit, dude. I would have lost my shit, man. That's the type of stupid humor that I have. But anyways, back to the quote. We judge ourselves by our intentions, but we judge others by their behavior. It's just putting yourself in someone else's shoes, I think.
Yeah. No,
putting yourself in.
I agree.
Putting yourself in their shoes. I try to do that so much, even though I suck at it. It's not easy, bro.
It's not.
It's not easy.
And see, the only reason why I can relate to this quote, and I really learned that this is something that I do, is when I was working at Walmart full time as a supervisor. That was what I did, because the entire time I'm like, and I intend to do the best that I can and make sure that everything is done the correct way, and I want I want to get it done that way. But a lot of my employees, at the time, they would feel some type of way, just wouldn't do something, or they were lazy one day, or that's how I saw it as, they were lazy that day, or they just weren't working fast enough to my expectations,
Right.
And so I was just taking it in. Yeah. I was taking it in that way, that they're just lazy sometimes, and it wasn't all my employees. In fact, all of them can't be considered my employee. Walmart has a weird management style, so I don't know. But that was when I really learned how to just look at it from other people's perspective, and when I did that, the managers really didn't like that. They didn't. I swear.
But see, dude, that's one of the reasons why when I was still working at Home Depot, way back when, I didn't take the supervisor role.
Okay.
I didn't take it because I saw the system that was put in place. Mm-hmm. I saw what the expectations were for supervisors, and I saw the work ethic of everyone in their everyone in their respective departments, and I was like, how about no? Because you're the ones gonna get shit for it, and they're the ones that aren't gonna do any work. So I for the longest, I think they forced me to go into those classes, supervisor classes. Because I had been there for a little bit, like I had been there for a few years, and I think HR was like, why hasn't he been taking, leadership classes or something? Because I guess they just after a few years, they try to get you into the leadership class. Yeah. Which is basically a class into intro to be a supervisor. Yeah. And I remember when I found out, I was like, why are you wasting my time? Like, I'm not going to apply for that position. I shouldn't be here. I got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I got stuff to do. This is like an hour of my shift. And I mean, I was getting paid at the same time. But I knew that going after that class, it would be a shit show trying to catch up on what I was doing,
Exactly. Yep.
So that whole time period, I was kind of like, I was in a pissy mood when I would go to work. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. It's a waste of my time. Like, I get it. I can't be that person. Like, if I'm gonna be at that position, then I'm one of those people that are not gonna take any shit. You know. And I knew that wasn't gonna happen. I knew that wasn't gonna. That's not how it was gonna play out at the store. So I was like, I'm not talking about at Home Depot though. I still shop there, but I
still shop at Walmart, and I still work there part time. It's whatever.
Yeah. Current year is 2019, and I'm just saying, work on your stuff. It's we're moving into 2020, put in some new policies, but whatever,
you want policies that actually work. That means we have to just not care, because if you want a policy that worked, that means you don't want to work anywhere.
Right. I also heard this quote kind of reminds me of a different one I heard. It's kind of a simpler quote, but it's basically like, I forgot how it went. It's basically like no one else, or you think that everyone else thinks like you, but they don't. Yeah. It's kind of like that. Like I think about that a lot when I'm talking about like my managers or my boss or something. Yeah. I'm like, and I'm pretty sure in their minds, they're like, man, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Why, it's like their minds are running 24/7, but some of your employees or some people under you, or even some people over you, might not think the same way you think.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people struggle with that just because of the fact that a lot of people don't look internally. They may listen to themselves say it, but they're not really listening. They're not hearing the fact that, oh, I think this way, but they don't think this way, so maybe they have another way of thinking about it. Maybe they have a better idea of doing it, anything like that. No, they want it done their way because they think their way is the only way to do it.
Oh yeah, or let's flip it, and let's say like they do. Let's say you think that they do think like you, but then they still don't do, like, let's say a task. They still don't do the task even though they think like you. That's what the problem is, because then you're like, man, they chose not to do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
And that's when they really get upset right there, because they're like, why didn't you just do that? And it's like, well, I can't do that,
Yeah, it's all about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, man.
Nobody wants to do that in 2019.
I understand completely, even though it's easier to do it nowadays than ever before, but I struggle with it. I don't do it all the time. I probably do it, like, if I have to put a number to it, like maybe a quarter of the time, if at all.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yep.
All right, so real quick, I'm just gonna touch on this little. It's real small. By Informed Block 57. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from.
Oh my God, if I've never heard anything more true than that. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Yeah. That is so. I can think of so many people off the top of my head that have to hear that right now, bro.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
It's kind of ridiculous the amount of people that need to hear that.
And the thing, it's so crazy because I don't know, like you wouldn't trust these people to give you real life advice. Like, they're so immature, or they don't have the right mindset, or you think that maybe their thinking is destructive, just not where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. It's just they're just not in the right mindset to give anybody advice, bro.
Exactly. So why in the hell would you let someone tell you that you're not doing something right if they can't even get their thinking right?
Right. I get it. Some people shouldn't be giving out advice. Some people shouldn't, and then they start a whole cult out of it, bro. Like
yeah,
like it can go 0 to 100 like real freaking quick. But check out this comment. On the quote.
Eyeballs.
From Metal HD.
Okay.
He says, criticism is advice. Think about that. Whenever somebody criticizes you, what are they doing? Are they criticizing you? Like, say it's constructive criticism. Let's change it to constructive criticism, because sometimes criticism can just be like toxic.
You're right.
So constructive criticism is advice. I would agree with that. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
So constructive criticism, you wouldn't even associate with someone who you wouldn't take advice from. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of somebody that you wouldn't take advice from. You wouldn't associate constructive criticism from them because you don't expect it from them.
You're so right. Like, I wasn't even thinking about it from that perspective,
Right. So it's kind of like goes in one ear, out the other. Maybe some people have a harder time doing that because some people take things to heart. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, yeah.
Some people take things so personally. It could be anything, too. It could be the way you shifted in your freaking chair at work or something, It could be something that small to a statement that you said where you didn't really mean anything. You're not even thinking about it, but the next day they come up to you and be like, hey, I didn't like what you said the other day. And I'm like, well, what did I say the other day? I didn't say a lot of things. I say a lot of shit. It's just, I don't know, bro. People are different. Don't take criticism from anybody you wouldn't take advice from. That's life advice right there, bro.
I mean, yeah. And also, like, just sometimes you just don't take it too hard because, it's not a dick.
I know. I guess so. Like, telling people not to take things to heart. Like, if you told somebody, let's say somebody is like that. Somebody takes things personally all the time. Mm-hmm. If you just went up to them and told them in conversation, hey, man, you shouldn't take things to heart, they would take that to heart, bro.
Immediately. They're like, oh, you thinking something wrong with the way I think?
Yeah, like, they'll start going off, I guarantee it. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that works? It's kind of like an oxymoron at that point, dude. Bro.
It is.
But, yeah, I know people like that. I know people who take things to heart or... I don't know, who are just not great at taking any form of constructive criticism, not even criticism, constructive criticism.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I guess
maybe it has to do with insecurities.
Honestly, it could be. Like, people don't know how to deal with their insecurities in the correct way. I don't know how to deal with my insecurities, so that's what I'm speaking
me neither,
from. Yeah.
Me neither, but I'll take constructive criticism any day of the week. Like, I remember, I think about like 3 months into this new job that I have, I asked my boss. Mm-hmm. I remember we were alone in the office, and I was like, I think we had some downtime, and I told him, like, do you have any constructive criticism for me? Mm-hmm. And he was in his chair, and he laid back, and he was like, well, I don't know. Let me think about it real quick. And he's like, I wasn't expecting that question. And then he thought about it, and he gave me some constructive criticism on how I could be improving my job, and now I proved my job. You see how easy that was?
Exactly. And the thing is, I asked my managers, for feedback and stuff like that. Now, depending on who the manager was, I didn't get feedback.
Or the proper feedback.
Or no, I didn't get feedback.
At all. Now that's poor management.
Yeah, that's poor management right there. But I did, from the few that I did get constructive feedback from, it was nice to hear, because I know sometimes straight out the bat, like, I am not approachable when it comes to work, if I'm serious about it,
What do you mean approachable?
Like, people cannot come to me and tell me, something if I know, like, the thing, like how we were just talking about the entire thing, how you don't take criticism from people if they don't know how to do their job, or if they, their thinking isn't right and everything like that. I am that person. Like, I don't take criticism from people who don't know how to do what they need to do, or don't know, like, their line of thinking is just awful.
Like, you pay them no mind, and then pretty much everything they're saying. Yeah.
So when it comes to upper management, middle management, any of that, and they would come up to me and they would say something stupid, because that's what it was, stupid, I would tell them about it. I would talk to them, and that was my thing. Like, I'm giving them criticism. I'm giving them constructive criticism. It wasn't always constructive, I can tell you that for sure. But
I mean, it doesn't. It can't always be. You know, we're human.
But the thing is, I asked for the same thing in return. Some things from I would actually take the opportunity to hear them out. All right, so those were some technical difficulties, but going back to it, I don't know where it cut off for both of us, but I was saying that when I actually did give them criticism or constructive criticism, and they I don't know if they actually took it or not, but that's fine. But it was at that moment that I realized, when I actually asked for it from them, and I was actually willing to take in that information, they didn't want to give it to me.
Oh boy.
That was when they, that's when they start talking behind your back and everything like that,
That means, you know what that means? That means they were threatened. Exactly.
And that right there, that's their thought process.
Yeah.
It's not where it needs to be, and that's why it sucks being a manager sometimes. It really does.
It's a very, very crappy way of going about, handling your employees.
Yeah. But with that being said, I just want to hit y'all with a quick quote that I saw in here, and then after that we'll be wrapping up this episode of the podcast, and hopefully this opens up your minds a little bit, because we're woke around here. No,
I mean, not to toot our own horns,
but we're pretty open to other ideas and everything around here. We woke. So so this quote is probably the best thing to end off on, and it's by the username Sun. I'm gonna mess that up. Sun Astley. Sun A C Lee. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. It's like SONASEELE.
We gave it the old college try, so.
Oh, I definitely did, and I could not get it, so I'm sorry. I doubt you're gonna hear this, but if you do, I'm sorry. So this person said, "The world is changed by your example, not by your opinion."
Oof.
Yeah.
We're getting a little too deep now, Kevin.
Yeah. Hey, all I'm saying is I believe it's true. Like, you can give your opinion on something, but it doesn't mean that it's going to change anybody's, ideas or anything like that,
But
it doesn't mean that it's
the trick is to get people to realize it. That's the trick.
Yeah, but we're not talking about tricks here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We're trying to remain optimists here in 2019.
Hey, 2019 has been a little rough, so if I'm not a 100% optimist, I'm sorry.
You're no longer an optimist, you're a realist.
I think I'm getting there to being a realist, honestly. Like, I feel every day I'm just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. Alright, though.
Alright, you gonna wrap us out of here, big boy?
Sure. Alright, well, thank you guys for listening. We hope you guys give us a good review. If you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star review. We're also on Spotify. What else are we on, Kevin?
Google Podcasts, Anchor, Anchor, Pocket Cast, and I can't remember the other ones. I don't think anyone's actually listening to us from those. But if you are, and you can give us a rating, and you actually like what we're doing out here, go ahead and give us a rating. And we still have to get the YouTube page up and running so you guys can interact with us there.
YouTube,
if that's something y'all want to do.
Right, YouTube channel is coming, and we're also on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. HFD Podcast.
Yeah,
that's 3 letters. HFD Podcast.
One word, no spaces.
One word, no spaces. But thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.